Hey, hey, hey. It's Filter Free Friday, y'all. Listen, I am so glad y'all here. I thought about maybe not doing this today because, my mama said, if you ain't got nothing good to say, don't say nothing at all. And I have been thinking so much about the Carmelo Anthony case and hard to have something good to say. I am excited that there's already an appeal process and he's got, looks like he's got lots of support happening, but I don't believe in general humans are supposed to be in cages. I do believe in general that humans should have sunlight, and I also believe that just because someone has lost their freedom does not mean that they should be treated poorly. And I think we have a unique problem in this country that we believe that because you have lost your freedom, that we should also be able to treat you poorly. And I think it's a travesty. This idea that you shouldn't be able to eat good food and um, have a comfortable place to lay because you have committed a crime. It's just like, man, humans are still humans. Humans are still deserving of dignity and respect. And I think it's a fascinating situation when we believe that we have a right, in any sense, to treat people subhuman. And so, with that, several times this week, I have been shocked at first and then disappointed. Um, there are people who are like, I don't know anything about this case. I got to protect my peace. And I think that's all well and good until you step into empathy's shoes, which require that we ask, what would I want to happen if it were me? So I'm defending myself. I've been bullied. I got four people, got me cornered. I stabbed one of them. They die. The prosecutor decides to charge me. I go to trial. There ain't a single person on the jury that looks like me. I get found guilty of murder, not manslaughter, murder. And then the judge sentences me to 35 years in prison. What would I want people to do? Would I want them to look away? And the answer to that question is no, you want everybody paying attention. It is so evidenced by the people who don't care about special needs children until they have a child who has autism. It is so evidenced by the people who don't care about health care or health insurance until they get diagnosed with cancer. By the way, it's going to be one in three of us in the United States of America. The people who don't seem to care about what's happening in the education system because they ain't been in the school since they left in 1990s, 1980s, 1970s or so. And until they have someone who's in the school system being mistreated. And I tell you, your silence is not going to protect you. And the way you know that there's something uniquely wrong with this system is I want you to imagine you had that issue. Imagine you had that identity. It's we make empathy hard. It's not that hard. It's very easy actually. Like if you are heterosexual, do you want to be gay in this country? Well, why not? Because when you answer why not, you treat gay people wrong. When you Jane Elliott, the blue-eyed blind brown-eyed experiment, it's been over 50 years now that she did this experiment. In fact, she started doing it I think a week after Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated, where she would tell certain children, based on the fact that they had brown eyes, that there was something uniquely wrong with them, and she would give privileges to the children with blue eyes. I think that's the way the experiment worked. And within 15 minutes, she had changed the confidence in those children. And I just recently saw Jane Elliott. She came to my lovely hometown. She was over in Kansas City, Kansas. And she asked the question, would any of you want to be Black in America? Stand up. And she was not talking to Black people. And lots of people have seen her do that now. And so sometimes some of them will stand. But for decades, nobody would stand. You know why? Because they know, they know race neutral policy is everything but neutral. It's they know the inherent bias that gets talked about when they're in private community. You know, one of my really good friends is a criminal defense attorney. Love this guy. He hadn't even heard of the case. He had heard of the NBA star, hadn't heard of the case. This is what he does for a living. And so there's a concerted effort even to ensure that some people don't even know about what's happening to young boys in brown skin. Don't even care to know. You know, it's James Baldwin, the man so many people like to quote when they're talking about their internal rage, who said to us, you know, you might not know the intricacies about policies, practices, and procedures, but you know you would not like to be Black in this country. And because you know you would not like to be Black in this country, you know that there are challenges in healthcare, banking and lending, education, criminal justice, policing. And acknowledgement is the first step to any change. And I will be 50 next month, and we ain't ready to acknowledge it, babe. And empathy cannot sit on a bed of hypocrisy. You know what you want to happen if it's you. You do not want people to turn away their gaze. You know it is unfair. I want to shout out Laura McDonald. She is the only one of my white colleagues who has posted about the failures of this particular verdict and what has happened to this child. Everybody else has been incredibly silent, incredibly silent. And the hatefulness that is experienced and pushed through because folks can sit behind a keyboard, it's a really good indication. It's a really good indication that you know, whatever it is you want to say, you know you wouldn't want it to be said about you if it were you. There's hardly a reason I can think about for anybody being in jail for 35 years. But when you contrast it with in the exact same state, a man leaves his store, chases a boy down, shoots him in his back, and is found not guilty. And we can't see the incongruence in that. It starts to become we don't want to see it. And if there's one thing I know, I will never be able in this capitalistic society to make a fantastic living calling out these incongruences. But our silence will not protect us. My son is brown. And if at any point he decides that he is going to protect himself, I know that this is not a system that is built on equal fairness and justice for all. That even his mere speaking up might be sometimes construed as aggression. He was 2 years old having a tantrum when a white daycare owner said, he is going to go to jail if you do not get this under control. Is that about a 2-year-old, or is that about the adultification of Black boys? Is that about her own internal biases and seeing criminal and thug when baby and child should be there? Now, what you should know is that I had the ability and the access to get him out of that situation immediately. But we make trade-offs because we know what this system is like. We know how things are funded differently based on the race of the children. Go anywhere in this country and you can look at a school, not see a single child, and you know if that's a resourced school or not. You know if it's a good school or not. How? And go anywhere in this country and know when you are in a safe neighborhood and when you're not. You don't have to see a person because the structure ensures that the system is operating exactly how it is supposed to. My job is to help leaders be better at their jobs. I don't know how you do that if you cannot acknowledge what is. I don't know how you do that if you don't recognize that who you call dumb, who you call smart, who you believe is on a path to jail versus who is on a path to something righteous and beautiful and lovely. It's not all overt and in your face, but you live here long enough. The patterns can't escape you, honey. And silence, because I put my head down. Silence, because I went to sleep and took a nap and never wanted to get up. It ain't gonna protect you. And people probably think that I am speaking to Black people. Most of us know that. The resilience that is going to be necessary should we allow this here democracy to continue on the path it's on. Y'all ain't ready. You're not ready for the type of resilience it takes at the bottom to be able to handle. We know what it's like at the bottom. We've been at the bottom. Regardless of our wealth class, regardless of our academic status, regardless of our unique talents and abilities, personalities, we know what it's like. And as Lucille Clifton says, won't you celebrate with me that every day something has tried to kill me and failed. It is Filter Free Friday, y'all. We got work to do.